Hello, my name is Michaela, and I'll be doing a debate over how affirm action is helpful. So, affirm action is a vital policy designed to address historical and systematic inequalities faced by marginal groups. It helps create a more diverse and inclusive environment which benefits everyone. According to the American Association for Access, Equity, and Diversity, affirm action ensures equal opportunities in education, employment, and promoting diversity and leveling up the playing field for those who have been historically disadvantaged. So my first topic is going to be over enhancing diversity in education. So affirmative action in education institutions help to create diverse student body, enriching the learning experience for all students. The ACLU points out that diversity in education promotes critical thinking and reduces prejudice and prepares students for the global workforce. Studies have shown that students from diverse backgrounds bring unique perspectives that enhance classroom discussions and foster innovation. This diversity helps break down stereotypes and build a more inclusive society. So the focus here on the positive impact of diversity in education. Affirmative action ensures that students from various backgrounds have higher access to education, which benefits everyone by creating a richer and more dynamic learning environment. So our next topic that I'll be discussing is promoting equality in employment. So in the workplace, affirmative action is helpful, and it helps ensures that all individuals have equal opportunities for employment advancement. The American Association for Access, Equity, and Diversity states that these policies help break down barriers and create a more inclusive workforce. Affirmative action could lead to more diverse and innovative team, which is beneficial for business and the economy as a whole. By promoting diversity, companies can better reflect and serve their diverse customer bases. The key issue is the positive impact of affirmative action on employment. These policies help create a more equitable and productive workforce, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to succeed based on their abilities and potential. To conclude, affirmative action is a necessary tool for addressing historical and systematic inequalities. It promotes diversity and inclusion, which are essential and for a just and equitable society. By ensuring that everyone has equal opportunities, we can create a more fair and prosperous future for all. Affirmative action not only benefits marginalized groups, but also enriches our communities and strengthens our institutions. So that is the end of why I think affirmative action is more helpful, and thank you for listening. Hello, my name is Michaela Walden. I'll be discussing the impact of the Supreme Court's recent ruling on affirmative action and how it changed the racial makeup of college admissions. This analysis is based off of the PBS article, How the Racial Makeup of Colleges Changed After the Affirmative Action Ruling. Understanding these changes is crucial as they reflect broader societal and political dynamics. The article highlights several commonalities in behavior among universities. One key point is the collective response to disclose the racial makeup of the first class of students admitted after the Supreme Court overturned affirmative action. This transparency aims to provide a clear picture of the ruling's impact on diversity within higher education institutions. Despite this shared behavior, there is notable diversities in outcomes. Some universities have seen a significant drop in Black and Latino enrollments, while others have managed to maintain or even increase diversity through alternative measures. The article states, while some universities have seen a significant drop in Black and Latino enrollments, others have managed to maintain or increase diversity through alternate measures. This variation underscores these different strategies and responses adopted by institutions based on their unique context and priorities. The interaction between politics is vividly illustrated in the article. The affirmative action ruling is a political decision with profound cultural implications. It reflects the ongoing debate in the United States about race, equality, and meritocracy. The ruling has sparked discussions about the role of race in college admissions and broader societal goals of achieving racial equality. The article notes, the ruling has sparked discussions about the role of race in college admissions and broader societal goals of achieving racial equity. Okay, so let's look at some cases and additional sources to further understand the impact. For example, Harvard University and the University of North Carolina have reported in declines of minority enrollment, similar to outcomes seen in the states that have banned affirmative action years ago. Additionally, historical Black colleges and universities have seen a boost in enrollment as students seek environments that support their racial identity. In conclusion, the PBS article on racial makeup and affirmative action ruling provides a comprehensive view of commonalities and diversity of behaviors among different groups, the interaction between culture and politics, and the inner workings of government institutions. The ruling has not only reshaped college admissions, but also sparked broader discussions about race, equality, and the role of government as addressing these issues. As universities navigate these new landscapes, their varied response underscore the complexity and significance of this landmark decision. So thank you all for listening to my article presentation.
Hello guys, my name is Doug Humphreys, and this is my reasons why affirmative action is harmful. So number one, it's not fair to everyone. So some people think that admissions and hiring should be based purely on how smart or qualified you are, not on your race or gender. Affirmative action sometimes means that someone who isn't as qualified might get in over someone who worked harder, just because of their race or background. It doesn't seem fair to some people who feel they've earned their spot through their efforts. My second reason, it can make people feel like they don't deserve it. If someone gets into a school or a job because of affirmative action, some might think they're not as qualified as others and that they only got in because of their race or gender. This can make the person feel like they didn't really earn it, even if they did. My third reason, it can divide people. So some people argue that by giving special treatment based on race or gender, it makes us focus more on what makes us different instead of what makes us the same. Instead of seeing people as individuals, it can turn people into groups based on race or gender, which could cause more tension between people. My fourth reason, it might be fair to some groups. My fourth reason, it might be unfair to some groups. Some critics think that affirmative action hurts people from groups like white or Asian students because they might be passed over for someone who is from a minority group, even if their grades or qualifications are better. That feels like reverse racism or reverse discrimination, if I'm being honest. Number five, or my fifth reason, it could lower our standards. So some people believe that when schools or companies focus on diversity over qualifications, they might accept or hire people who aren't as qualified just to meet a quota. This could lower the overall standards for everyone. Number six, it might create dependency. So Some people think that affirmative action makes it so people rely on government rules to get ahead instead of trying to work hard and earn their success on their own. They believe we should be focusing on giving everyone the same opportunities to succeed, not just using affirmative action as a shortcut. My seventh reason, the seventh reason is it doesn't solve the real problem. It just doesn't help the problem. So critics say that the real problem isn't about race or gender and emissions or jobs. It's about things like poor schools, economic inequality, or lack of resources. They believe affirmative action doesn't address these bigger problems and might even make them worse. My eighth reason and my final reason, it can cause unintended consequences. So some argue that when people compete for spots based on race or gender instead of just qualifications, it can cause even more tension between different groups. It might make people feel like there's less room for everyone, and create jealousy rather than bringing people together. Thank you. And those are the reasons why I think affirmative action is harmful.
My name is Brighton Paul, and I'm a debater for why affirmative action is harmful. Today I'll be discussing how affirmative action can cause reverse discrimination and how it undermines the merit-based system. Reverse discrimination is commonly used by people who criticize affirmative action. This idea is when certain groups end up receiving special treatment from people. These groups are typically women or racial minorities. Many people who receive this special treatment from people typically have an advantage over traditional groups such as white men. The problem with affirmative action is that as we try to fix this past discrimination, we end up kind of creating a new kind of unfairness to people. Affirmative action can hurt the idea of the merit-based system that we created, where people receive opportunities based on their skills, qualifications, or abilities, and not based on their race, gender, or background. However, affirmative action can cause the merit-based system to give opportunities up to people with a different race, gender, or background. Currently, many businesses and schools give up these opportunities to certain groups like the racial minorities or women, even if the competition is more qualified to receive these opportunities. This results in groups such as white men to lose these opportunities from people choosing affirmative action over the merit-based system, where they chose people off their skills, qualifications, and abilities. For example, if a person decides to hire someone based on their race or gender, even if other people are equally or more qualified, many people argue that it's unfair to those who might be just as good or better. A real-life example was when a Latina woman was admitted to a prestigious law school through affirmative action, despite having lower LSAT scores and GPA than the other applicants that submitted their applications to that prestigious law school. This led to a sense that she was not truly qualified for that position, but she was admitted just because of affirmative action. Many job promotions have also been stolen from more qualified people because of this affirmative action. People who are admitted or promoted through affirmative action might also end up feeling stereotyped, whereas though their achievements are less than, or just seen as less legitimate. Although affirmative action aims to promote diversity and equality, it ends up creating more harm than it does good in the long run. So thank y'all.